upcoming at the moment is the PMI Africa Conference, and that's the 11th to the 13th of September, and that's happening in Lagos, Nigeria. So if you haven't registered for that, please register for it. If you need more information, you can email us. Every year, we also do a project management day, and that's towards the first Thursday in November. That's to celebrate project management, as well as to give new credential holders some accolades and to give volunteers a big thank you. We have chapter exchange events, and that's the third Friday of every month. What that does is it exposes all members to other chapters, and you can learn from different environments and different cultures from those. Webinars on any 10 trending topics. We have a director development program that we in the process of launching. We are also developing a leadership development program. Other things on offer, the mentoring program, also mentoring circle based on the talent triangle. What that means is we tell you what ways of working, power skills, and business acumen actually mean in your daily lives and how to put that into practice. On demand, we have workshops on how to actually complete your PDU cycle, how to network, and how to facilitate. Next slide, please, Dion. So as you would know, the PMP is the ultimate certification to have, but if you don't have the recommended credentials for that, you can also do the CAPM. Other credentials or certifications also on offer is the portfolio management and the program management, as well as the Agile Certified Practitioner. There's also certifications in business analysis, risk management, and scheduling management. Very recently launched is Discipline Agile Certification. That's the CDA, the CDAP, the DALSM, and the CDAC. So you can look at the PMI.org website for more information on those. Next slide, please.
With market participants where we have been coming out from the United States.
Okay, so in August 2021, the PM Box 7 was launched. So what differs this from all versions of the PM Box before it is that it speaks about a system for value delivery. It's principle-based standard. So it focuses on the what and the why and not dictating how to do it. Importantly, it's a combination of agile, hybrid, and adaptive approaches. It has project performance domains and focuses on 12 principles. Next slide, please. So you would ask, how does it differ from the previous version of the PM Box? So previously, we talked about 5 domains. Now we speak about the 12 project delivery principles. Previously, we spoke about the 10 knowledge areas. Now we speak about the 8 domains, performance domains, that is. What is very important about this is that the 5 domains and the 10 knowledge areas still exist within traditional project management. So it's not that it does not exist. The book just focuses on processes for system delivery rather than the traditional approach, which is based on technical project management. The next slide, please. So very importantly, for those that want to write the PMP exam and they don't have enough experience, if you complete a degree through the University of Pretoria, and that's the Graduate School of Technology Management, which Karen will probably speak to you a little bit about later, you would actually qualify for a 12-month reduction of your project management experience. So you can actually write your PMP a year earlier. So the two courses there that you can do to guarantee your 12-month deduction is your Master of Engineering in Project Management and your Master of Science in Project Management. Next slide, please. So in terms of project management, readiness, and applicability to all ages, it's quite a useful skill to have, as you can imagine. So how much more appropriate can it be if we teach younger people how to perform project management skills? The project management, PMI Project Management Ready, is focused on high school and post-secondary school students. And this teaches them basic skills on how to perform project management tasks. And you can check the website for more information on this as well. Next slide, please. So if we talk about the PM Box 7 and the PM Box 6, as of the end of March 2020, PMI has actually started to phase out the PM Box 6 edition. So what this means essentially is that they will not print any more copies of the PM Box version 6. So if you want to get a copy, you'd need to order those online, and they will only be available while stocks are available. And if you are a PMI member, you can still download an electronic version of this version for your own use. Next slide, please.
Okay.
So what this means for us is that the exam is going to be changing very soon. So this is applicable to the CAPM exam, and that changes in October 2022. So similarly to what I've said previously, until the end of March, you could have print copies of the 6th edition for purchase. But if you now need to do it, you will have to order it while supplies are lasting. The next slide, please. So how would it affect PMP candidates? So very importantly to outline is that what is important is the exam content outline, or the ECO. So the PMP exam is not exclusively based on the PM Box. It's one of many sources of information that you require to write the exam. So what you should do in order to prepare for the exam is make sure you study the ECO documents and either take a prep workshop from someone like an ATP, or you can take online self-paced workshops. So whatever works for you, whether you like the face-to-face interface or you want to do something online, that's entirely up to you. Next slide, please. Another aspect that PMI has come up with is Career Navigator. So what Career Navigator allows you to do is to take a self-assessment of where you are in your career. So for many students of PMP or prospective students of PMP, you can actually use this to figure out if PMP is actually the credential that you should be seeking, because it actually takes all your information and allows the navigator to show you which should be your path that you should take. So you can try this out. It's quite an intensive navigator. So it looks at what you are doing now, what you'd like to do, what your career aspirations are. It gets an action plan going for you, and it tracks your progress towards it. So it's definitely something you can look at to figure out how your career path should be. Next slide, please. If we look at the exam structure, if we look at the differences between 6 and 7, Previously, we looked at the 5 domains: initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and closing off the project. So now we look at the talent triangle: people, processes, and the business environment. So these domains will be updated very soon to the new talent triangle domain. And as you see, processes and people form the major percentages of this. Next slide, please. Thank you. Back to you, Carol.
Okay, great. Thanks, Nirvana. Dion, just in the chat, Tulani is asking for us to unmute him. He can't hear anything. I'm not sure if it's on our side or on his side. If we maybe could see if we could assist him there. Thanks, everyone. As I've mentioned before, I'm Carol Peterson. I'm the VP for ATP Outreach. I will, Dion, please go on to the next slide. I'll do an introduction after that. So just, no, previous slide, Dion. There we go. To get hold or to contact the VP portfolio, because I would be your contact to the ATP, or if you're requiring any information with regards to the South African chapter, please email me at vpatpoutreach@pmi.org.za. I'll give you information on our registered ATPs, and also, Dion, you can go to the next slide. I will also issue each candidate who's interested in writing the certification through a recognized ATP, such as PM Ideas or with Dr. Taryn. I will issue a letter which will grant you, which will enable you to qualify for the discount. So just to clarify that we do have different discount structures with our ATPs. With the Graduate School of Technology, that is with Dr. Taryn and her team, that you would qualify for a 5%. That's just the arrangement that we have with the ATP. We're currently running a promotion, if I can say that, with PM Ideas. If you do certification from now until the end of the year through PM Ideas, you will qualify for a 10% discount to do your CAPM or your PMP exams. So as a start, if you've decided that you are wanting to do this, please please email me. I'll issue you a letter that you would present to the ATP. Okay, thanks. Next slide, Dion. All right, so just to introduce our keynote speaker, as I've said, welcome Dr. Taryn Barnard. So just a bit of background. It is the first time that we have UP as a keynote speaker for this year. So we do value the discussion because they do run a different course structure. So Dr. Taryn is a senior lecturer and researcher at the Graduate School of Technology Management at the University of Pretoria. Before joining the University of Pretoria, she worked as a project manager, focusing mainly on ICT and business improvement projects for the private and public sector clients. She teaches on the school's masters in project. She teaches school's masters in project management program and various short courses on project management through enterprises at UP. She has published widely in both the national and international journals and regularly presents papers at conferences in a field of expertise. Her qualifications include engineering degree, cum laude, a master's degree, cum laude, and a PhD in project management, as well as PMP and Prince2 certifications. And she's registered as a professional engineer with ECSA. Thank you, Dr. Taryn. Welcome.
All right, thanks, Carol. Thanks for the introduction. Hi, everyone. I hope you're all well. Can you all hear me well? You can all hear me. Okay, great.
We're
thanks,
well.
Dion.
Taryn.
Okay, hi, Tunde.
Hi.
Nice to see you. Okay, I sent my presentation in PDF just so that there wouldn't be any delays or any interruptions to my streaming it from my computer. So yeah, so Carol's introduced me. So you can go to the next slide, please, Dion. Okay, so on that slide, so I'm at the Graduate School of Technology Management, which is a postgraduate department of the Faculty of Engineering at UP. So we're the only postgraduate department. So our focus is on focusing on management skills for qualified engineers primarily. So we have a master's in project management degree, which is for qualified engineers or people from a science-based background who want to develop their management skills in project management. But we do also have other master's programs, which they also have access to, which is a master's in engineering management and a master's in technology and innovation management. So we've got those 3 M programs, which is our primary focus. We do also have a honors degree that's mainly for guys with a BTech or recently graduated engineers to help bridge them to the level of a master's student or entry to enter the master's program and basically bypass the work experience requirement that's also required. Yeah, so our department has been offering a master's degree in project management since 1998. We're also the only educational institution in Africa that's accredited with the PMI Global Accreditation Center. So that's GAC accreditation, which is a little bit different to ATP, but our department also has ATP. So we've got GAC and ATP accreditation with PMI. Yeah, so in addition to our degree programs, we also run various open short courses through our sister company that's wholly owned by the University of Victoria called Enterprises at UP. So they run various short courses, and I'll also be presenting some of those courses to you because those can also be done to help you get your PDUs once you're a PMP. So we focus on qualifications in project management, exam preparation workshops to prepare you to write the PMP or CAPM, and then professional development short courses to help you keep up to date with your PDUs. Okay, thanks, Dion. Next slide. So this is just basically a list of all our short courses that we run and our year programs and our online offerings. These are all offered through Enterprises at UP. So those run throughout the year and there's multiple intakes. I'm mainly going to be talking to you about 2 of my courses that are offered through Enterprises, which is the PMP exam prep course and the CAPM exam prep course. And that can be attended as a contact course. So meaning you go to a venue and, you know, you're there for about 3 days and lunch is included and you just intensely focus on preparing yourself for the PMP. But there is also for both of those, both the CAPM and the PMP, an online offering, which is in the case of the CAPM, it's on demand, meaning you work through the content at your own pace. And the PMP is a virtual instructor-led offering, meaning it's stretched over 3 months. And for 1 hour a week, I present a live online lesson. So you interact with me live once a week, but it's online, so you can access it from anywhere, and that is recorded. And then we do homework, and the pace is a bit slow. We work slowly through the different material that you're required to know for the PMP exam. What I also just wanted to mention, which might not have been made that clear, is that if you do these exam prep courses, either through us or through any of the other ATPs, the exam is not part of the course. So PMI always requires applicants to apply separately, as they want to make sure that you've got the correct eligibility to write the PMP or CAPM. However, ATPs usually do help or advise potential applicants if they would qualify, because like I always say to my students, I don't want to waste your money or my time. So if I don't think you would be eligible to write the PMP, then I won't let you on the PMP course. But keep in mind, all the ATPs only offer exam preparation courses to help you prepare, but the exam you still have to organize through the PMI once they've received your application and approved your application. So that I just wanted to clarify, because it's something that delegates often ask. Yeah, so no ATP is allowed to offer the exam as part of the course. We can only help prepare you for the exam. Okay, thanks. Next slide, please. Okay, this slide just basically shows all the offerings that the GS team has. So our qualifications are listed there on the left-hand side. So you can even go up to a PhD in project management if you want to. Our certifications are given on the right. So we're also certified with EXA, which is the Engineering Council of South Africa. So many of our courses carry dual PDUs or professional development units with PMI and EXA if you're an engineer. And then some of the programs such as the PPM, which is the program in project management, which has been running for 25 years already. That's also accredited with the South African Council for the Project and Construction Management Professions. So on the bottom bit of that slide, it just shows the PPM, which is the program in project management. This is about a 6-month-long program, which consists of 8 modules. This is an ideal program if you're new to project management and you kind of want to know a little bit about everything relating to projects. So we cover, in the olden days, all the different knowledge areas, but these days the different delivery methods and all of that. And it basically is a program focused on the tools and techniques of project management, not primarily linked to the PMI, but basically looking at all the different methodologies and associations that are out there and exposing you to everything in project management. That's actually what it is. So it's not particularly aligned to PMI or IPMA, which is the European equivalent, but it basically exposes you to everything on project management and gives you exposure to actually practicing project management. So doing a work breakdown structure, writing a scope statement, doing a project management plan, those kind of things, identifying risks, all of that. So the PPM is there, then you can take that, you can continue in that direction with another year program called the APPM, which is the Advanced Program in Project Management. There, it just focuses on particular certain sort of nuances in project management, such as sustainability, project management technology, governance, MS Project is utilized there, and it has a particular advanced focus. Portfolio and program management is also on that particular program. And then what I'm going to be spending the rest of my time discussing is the PMP exam prep. So that's the project management professional exam preparation workshop and the CAPM exam prep workshop. So the CAPM is there for people that aspire to be project managers, but they don't yet have the necessary experience to write the PMP. Then the CAPM is ideal to provide those foundations on the path towards one day writing the PMP. Okay. Okay, thanks, Dion. You can go to the next slide. So in terms of the online PMP exam preparation course, which I present through Enterprises, as I said, it's virtual instructor-led, meaning we have a lesson for an hour once a week over the course of 3 months. So that's what we call a weekly lunch and learn lesson, called lunch and learn because you have lunch and I teach you on the material. We do activities during the lesson with occasional homework to help you practice the concepts. All the sessions are recorded and can be rewatched. I assist with eligibility and your PMP application. There are practice exam questions and additional material for difficult topics. That's just as I've been doing this now for going on 7 years, I've realized there's certain things that most people struggle with when they're preparing for the PMP. So I've supplemented the PMI's material with some of the other things that I've access to on the degree programs. So I give you that. And then at the end of the course, you write a mock exam, which I then analyze, and I basically give you feedback in terms of how well prepared you are to write the PMP. At that point, in most cases, the students have already spent dedicated time studying, but it gives you an idea of how you would score in the different areas, which is people, process, and business environments. And that's given with, obviously, with a memo, and it just gives you an idea of how much time you kind of need to give yourself to prepare yourself 100% for the exam. Okay, so I can't see that bottom bit there. I can't see that last bullet. Do you mind just scrolling up? Okay, yeah, so then there's also access to full-length exams, which is for practice purposes. Okay, thanks, Dion. Next page. This slide just basically shows you how the e-learning module looks. So we run it off our LMS, which stands for Learning Management System, which the whole of UP uses, which is called ClickUp. So my courses run off ClickUp. On the left is just the different additional activities we do in addition to the live lectures. And then in the middle is basically one of just how the live lessons look like as we go through the slides that are provided by PMI. And at the bottom, when you do an exam prep course with an ATP that's registered with PMI, they are supposed to give you access to the PMI Choice platform, which is PMI's authorized training platform. PMI Choice, you access it using a digital key, and that gives you additional resources. So what's quite useful on the platform is the spotlight videos that you can see there on the bottom right. That just helps people that don't necessarily learn through text, that more learn visually or using audio to better understand the concepts. Course files are there for the practice exercises that we do. There's self-knowledge checks, post-class surveys, and all your slides that we would also cover in the lessons are accessible through that platform. And that platform, once you get a digital key, that key remains active for a whole year. Yeah, so that's in addition to the material I provide you with. Okay, thanks, Dion. Next slide. Okay, so the online PMP or even the contact PMP, it's the same, provides you the 35 hours of project management education you require to be eligible to write the PMP exam. I've spoken about the digital key that you get. In addition to a PMI certificate that you've done the course, we also give you a University of Pretoria certificate to say that you've done the exam prep course. You get an additional 6 months once the course has come to an end. You get access to the recordings, the lecture recordings, to help you prepare for the exam. So keep in mind, there's a one-year access to the PMI Choice platform, and then we give you additional 6 months following the 3 months that you do the online course. You get access to the recordings and the lectures and the additional material. When we do the online courses, it's usually quite a big group. So we create student study groups and there's interaction. You really get to know the other people that are doing the course with you because you're basically meeting up once a week for 3 months. So it's quite a community that's created. The e-learning platform that we use is mobile compatible and there's an app. So you can actually log into the lesson from anywhere in the world. And then obviously there's printable handouts and additional repositories of documents that you just need to scan through before your exam. Okay. Thanks, Dion. Next slide. This slide is my last slide on the PMP and CAPM courses that we offer. It just basically indicates for the rest of the year for 2022, the different intakes. So at the top there, I've got a contact, meaning a face-to-face opportunity to do the PMP in October. The next online intake will open 1 November and will run till next year. I've just started my second intake for the year, and that's why there's a bit of a gap there. So I've got one that started on the 15th of July that will run until September, and then the next one will start. The fees are there. Those fees all exclude VAT, but they include the 5% PMI SA discount. In terms of the CAPM, I've got a contact course coming up in October. And then the next online one, unfortunately, is only in 2023. Yeah, the reason being is I've got quite a high teaching load in my second semester, so it's kind of limited based on my availability. Yeah, but that's what's available at the moment. If you're interested in courses in 2023, you're welcome to let me know. I've already got those dates, so I can give those to you. There's obviously many more offerings in 2023 that we've already put in the pipeline. In order to register, or if you want to know more about any of these courses, you can send me an email, or you can contact my course coordinator, Nsako, at Enterprises, and she can also assist you. Okay, thanks. Next slide. What I wanted to end with, or kind of just touch on with you, just to make it a little bit different. I recently attended a ATP session, but it was worldwide for all the ATPs. So it was run from the US, and I can't even remember. Basically, all the countries in the world were represented, almost all the areas. Sections of the continent were represented, and they just shared some interesting information with you that I thought you might be interested in. So they shared with us their most recent findings. They're often polling PMPs and finding out what industry wants. So they shared with us the benefits of PMP certification. So this is obviously valuable to anyone that's considering a PMP. They found that 53% of new and 80% of established PMPs are now in a more senior role. So you can see there the blue indicates position when they first earned the PMP, and then their position now. I think those might be a bit switched around, but basically they experienced progression in terms of their careers once they'd gotten their PMP. So I thought that was quite interesting. You can see there that one of the bottom bubbles is, it says 60% say that the PMP was a significant factor in their career advancement, and then just gives you their different roles that they're in now. Thanks. Next slide, please. So I thought that was quite interesting. What they also mentioned as an information to the ATPs was that they constantly inquiring from industry, what are the industry's challenges? And they found that the top project delivery challenges that industry has worldwide is that 38% struggle with managing changing priorities in projects. 32% of companies worldwide struggle with on-time delivery of projects, and then 30% struggle with having the right talent to resource priority projects. And what they just mentioned to us is that we must realize as ATPs, that has an influence on what's contained in the PMP. So the PMP, they try and align to what industry's needs are. So what I kind of sort of read between the lines is that these are the things to take note of, as you'll probably find a focus on these kind of scenarios and these type of questions that deal with these issues in your PMP exam, because it's aligned with industry's needs. Okay, next slide. Thanks, Dion. Nirvana's already touched on this. The PMP no longer is only bound to the PMBOK. So in the past, up until 2021, we used to teach the PMBOK as the main resource to write the PMP. That's no longer true since 1 January 2021. The PMBOK is now one of 10 recommended sources to prepare you for the PMP. So they've kind of done away with a textbook as such for the PMP. We now train on PMI's authorized training material, which you have access to through the PMI Choice platform. And the main thing, like Nirvana mentioned, is to focus on the exam content outline, or ECHO as it's known, because that's basically what summarizes what the exam will be about. So the ECHO is always important to have on hand. Let me check if there's anything. Oh, another thing to realize in terms of how they develop the PMP exam, they test the test content itself is developed by project managers for project managers. So they validate all questions using 2 references out of a list of 10 plus reference books. So they always align every question in the exam to at least 2 of these of 10 recommended sources. Okay, so all questions are validated and checked and double checked, but realize it's very much focused on practice. And what I always say to my students is there's no right answer. It's what's the best answer given the situation. So they can have exactly the same options, but if the situation changes, the answer might change. So it's very situation dependent, and that's actually what they tend to test on the PMP. Whereas the CAPM is a more direct test of your knowledge of project management. Okay, thanks, Dion. Next slide, please. Some interesting things that I thought I'd just mention to you. They're thinking of introducing modern content experiences in terms of how we go about preparing you for the PMP exam, as well as testing you on the PMP exam. So they realize many people don't test well in terms of just reading text. So I think they're playing with the idea of using more visuals in the questions and also in the training content. So it's something that's quite exciting. It'll be interesting to see how they implement this in the PMP exam. But basically, they're going to be introducing modern content because they realize people don't learn by reading books anymore. They learn through YouTube videos and listening to podcasts. So they've taken notes of that, and they will be amending the exam and the training material accordingly over time. Thanks, Dion. Next slide. Sorry, next slide. They mentioned there's some new PMP type items that they introduced in 2021. Sorry, just one back, please. So these are just new ways in which they ask the questions. So they've got prototype. Those are all obviously examples of potential questions, but they've got drag and drop type questions that's shown in the middle, where you basically have to analyze data. And then there's ordering type questions like you see on the right-hand side. And I can't really remember what the left-hand side one was, but it was also something where you're given information like spreadsheet information, you have to analyze it and use it to answer the question. So they've introduced new item types to the exam to improve the exam by aligning to how candidates perform and what they actually do on the job, rather than expecting them to memorize information. Okay, so you can just be prepared that you won't get, like in the olden days, we all used to get just multi-choice questions, 400 of them. Nowadays, it's progressed and you get a whole variety of types of questions to keep you engaged for the whole 3 or 4 hours that you write. Thanks. Next slide. Oh, they mentioned this is something that they're still in the process of working on. So they're expecting to introduce it sometime towards the end of 2022, probably only 2023 by the sounds of things. Basically in the exam, they'll give you little videos and you'll have to listen to the videos and use the videos to answer the questions. So they'll give you a situation that plays as a video and answer the question in terms of how that PM should respond to that scenario. So again, they're bringing in this new type of content into the exam, which will hopefully make it a bit more interesting and engaging. Thanks, Dion. Next slide. You can skip through this. Next slide. These are just testimonials from people that have done the course with me previously. It's actually just for the PDF version. Next slide, please. I think the last one, yeah. So that's my information. If you're interested in any of the degree programs, short courses, year programs, professional development courses, anything you've seen, you can access the GSTM's website or For short courses, you can go on Enterprises at UP's website. They listed there at the bottom in that navy block. Yes, you can phone me on my landline or send me an email, and I'm willing to assist you where I can. You're also welcome to ask me any questions you might have. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Dr. Taryn. Thank you for that. It was interesting to see from the stats. The only thing that's constant is change, eh? That will never go away. But thanks for also just giving us the insight to the discussion at the ATP global meeting. So guys, we've had a few questions. I'll go over to that, and then Nirvana, would you just like to quickly just clarify on the PDUs while I just switch to the...
Yes, so the PDUs for this session is only applicable to people presenting as volunteers, because this is an information session as such. So if you're watching it, you will not be able to claim any PDUs as somebody watching, only as somebody presenting. Thanks.
All right, Tunde, we hope we'll still catch you online, but Charan Tunde thanks you for the presentation. So thank you, Tunde.
No, thanks, Tunde.
Thanks, Carol. I can actually say something to what Neva just said. I don't know how many of us on the online are members of the chapter. So it's actually important that if you're not a member of the chapter, that you join join as a member, and then you can benefit from a whole lot of things that are available as a chapter of the PMI. Thanks.
Just to everybody, that was the chapter's president, Tunde Ojoromukudu. So thank you, Tunde, for joining us. So let's just start with the questions. So I've got a question here. Can the slides be shared to who attended the session so we can further interact with the presenters? Okay, there's the answer, Dion. About when would we be able to just have these online?
We can do it in the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
They can also send me an email, then I can also forward it to them. That's also fine, just a PDF.
Okay. So how do we join the chapter? So please go on, connect with us at www.pmi.org.za, and then it will give you instructions on how to join the chapter. So if you're a chapter of PMI Global, it also, when you go onto the PMI website, it also asks if you would like to join the chapter. If you are interested to join the chapter, please connect with me at the VP ATP address, and I could also put you into contact with our VP of membership. They would also kindly assist you with the process and what you would need to do to register with the chapter. So please engage with us. We'll help you through this process. Kavi asks, can you provide more information re next PMP exam dates?
Okay, so for that question, so you can actually write any day, any time, basically. So when you apply to PMI in the US to write the PMP, within, let's say, 2 days, they'll get back to you whether you're eligible or not. Then they'll put you through to a booking system, which will allow you to book your exam. You get 1 year from the date that they say your application's been accepted to book your exam, and you can write it up to 3 times in that 1 year. But keep in mind, every time you write it, you're going to pay. So you ideally want to write and pass first time because everything's in US dollars. But you would then choose a date and time that suits you if you're writing at a testing center. So if you feel you still need another 3, 6, however many months to prepare, then you book it in advance. They don't force you to write tomorrow. What else? Yeah, so you can also write from the comfort of your own home. So that's why I'm saying you can actually write anytime. So you can choose going to a testing center or writing from your own home. We've previously done sessions on the new PMP exam, writing from your own home, how that is, how people experience it. You can look on PMI SA's website. They've got old recordings of when we discussed this. Okay. There were 1 or 2 questions about qualifying for the PPM and APPM. There you only need a matric certificate as a minimum requirement to do those programs in project management. In terms of the PMP, there's 2 different ways you can access the PMP or be eligible. If you've got a matric certificate, you need an additional 5 years project management experience and 35 hours project management training. Whereas if you've got a degree, I think if they say a 3-year degree, then you only need 3 years project management experience and the 35 hours project management education to qualify to write the PMP. Okay, so that I think is most of the other questions. Carol, do you see anything else that we need to answer?
Yeah, there was one. Can you confirm the contact course in October is sufficient to prepare for the PMP exams?
Yes, so keep in mind that when you do a exam prep workshop with any ATP, it's like attending a lecture. You get exposed to the content, but just by attending the lecture doesn't mean you can go write exams on that knowledge. So you always, and everyone's at a different place in terms of how prepared they are. So usually by attending the exam prep workshop, you'll figure out, okay, I know all of this, or I don't know, I need to study some more. But usually it will require, after you've done an exam prep course, usually you are able to write within 6 to 8 weeks following the completion of the course. That's usually how much time we recommend you give to studying the material on your own and preparing yourself to write the exam. Because we also don't want you to take too long after finishing the exam prep course, because then you also forget the information and it's just a waste of money. So that's what we suggest. Any other questions?
Yeah, so there's one for Ayanda. So I'll come back to Ayanda on that one. And then there's one question I've got here. Would you suggest an engineer prioritize first between PR engineering and or I think it's probably all PMP?
It depends what you want to do. So remember, PReng is for professional practicing engineers. So if you want to stay in engineering and be a specialist and do engineering work, then I would say PReng. If you want to go into project management and be kind of a jack of all trades and manage the project, which will make use of specialists such as engineers, then I would say PMP. So it depends on what your role is, what your responsibilities are at the moment, where you want to go. They're 2 very different things, but they work hand in hand. So if you aiming to be a engineering project manager running big engineering projects one day, then you'll probably need both, especially if you're in a structural, construction, mining direction, because you'll need to sign off designs and that kind of thing, and at least have insight into the actual technical work. So their PReng is very valuable. In a consulting environment, PReng is also valuable as well as PMP, because that dictates the rates you can charge to when you're contracted to do work. So both actually are beneficial, but PMP more so if you're going into projects.
Okay. I have a few more questions. Ayanda, you're online. I had a question. Is there a Telegram WhatsApp group for SA chapter?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Carol. There is a Telegram group. Dion can help me in this. And if people would like to join, they can just send an email to vpmarketing@mi.org.za, and we'll add them with in the Telegram group. Thanks.
Thanks, Ayanda. One question, my eligibility expired in 2021 based on PMBOK 6. Does one have to do an additional learning course on PMBOK 7 to submit for PMP exams?
Would you like me to answer?
Yeah, that would be for you, Taryn.
So again, I don't know if I'm saying the right PMI thing, but my own experience is those that have done the PMBOK 6 and they're writing the 2022 exam based on my students' feedback that have recently written. I would suggest that you also read the Agile Practice Guide, because many of my students are coming back and saying the whole exam referred to Agile scenarios or Agile projects. So again, I don't know what industry you're in, what project experience you have, but if Agile is not something you dream about at night, then I would suggest you read the Agile Practice Guide as a supplement to the PMBOK 6. And then you should actually be okay to write the as I call it, the new PMP exam.
Yeah, so next question is, how do we submit or provide our years of working experience to qualify for PMP exams?
Okay, so that is all done on PMI's website. When you apply to write PMP exam or be eligible for the PMP exam, what I've told my students, what's quite useful, there's some nice YouTube videos that show you what information you'll need to capture there, because it does change from time to time. And like I myself can't go into that part of the system anymore because I'm already PMP. So I always say to my students, look at some reputable YouTube videos on the application process, what information you need to capture. I always say keep an Excel spreadsheet as backup of your experience, because they will want to know from you how many years of experience you've got in project management, and there is a chance you might be audited. So it's always better to know what you typed into that application form in case they audit you. So that would be my advice.
Okay. Do you know of any PMP exam prep courses in August?
We don't have at that point in time, because I teach on the master's program in August, and that's why you'll see there's that gap in my schedule, and I've got overseas conferences also in September and October. But you could do PMI's on-demand exam prep course, which is obviously you go through the material at your own pace. You can also check out the other ATPs whose primary business is to present exam prep workshops, and they would also probably be able to assist you.
Yeah, I was going to add to that to say I'm posting my email address, so please connect with you and I'll connect you to one of our other ATPs, PM Ideas. They normally have courses, short courses that run more frequently. I will connect you to Sean from PM Ideas, so let me know. So there's one last question, or one question coming in here. Upon attaining the PMP accreditation, what are the requirements to maintain the certification?
Okay, so you need to gather, if I could call it that, 60 PDUs over 3 years. And they're based on those 3 arms of the talent triangle. So each arm is 20 PDUs. So you can read up about that on PMI's website, how to maintain your PDUs. You get PDUs for doing project management work at your company, but you will also need to supplement that with sessions like this, professional development, webinars, reading articles if you're into that, or attending our PMI summit once a year, or the Africa conference, or things like that. Those are great places to get a lot of PDUs in one go. But it's over 3 years and 60 PDUs.
Okay, I think that's probably all the questions. If I've omitted or overlooked anyone's question, Please feel free to come off mute and ask Dr. Taryn questions, because I think we've reached the end of our presentation. I'll give everybody, if you want to, please come off mute or pop it in the chat box and I'll pick it up. Okay, there's one coming through. Tunde, you can also contact the chapter on any other matter at coordinator@pmi.org.za. You'll be able to get some assistance from our program coordinator. Thank you, Tunde. Okay. What would you recommend, a PMP or MPM, if you had to choose one or the other?
So what I'd like to mention is they're two very different things, actually. So a MPM is a degree. It's a master's degree in project management. So that would put you in the right space if you're looking at managing engineering projects specifically, because you also would have to have an undergraduate specialization in some science direction. So it's a qualification, whereas a PMP is a certification. So those are two different things. But they support one another. The PMP is more focused on particular PMI terminology, methodology, ways of delivering projects, and they can be applied to any industry, any context, any country. The Masters in Project Management, as I said, it's a qualification and it's mainly focused on engineering projects or technology-based projects. And how to manage those particular types of projects, and it's a qualification. So the MPM would also take you a minimum of 2 years part-time, whereas the PMP will probably take you from start to finish about 6 months to apply, attend exam, prep, and write the exam. If you could do it in 6 months. So they're a bit different.
Okay. I think we've answered all the questions. Is there any questions, anything from your side, Dr. Taryn, Nirvana, Tunde? I've seen Sela also online. If there are no further questions, Tunde?
Yeah, maybe, are you rounding up now, Carol?
Yes, we're rounding up, yeah.
All right, no, thanks. And I'd just like to give a few comments. Sorry, I couldn't join earlier on. I was just in some other meetings. But I'd say welcome and good evening to every one of you coming to the end of the program now. And first of all, I'd just like to basically just my closing remarks. You can call it welcome remarks and whatever else you want to call it. But just to say thank you, a big thank you to Dr. Taryn Bond-Barnett for giving us the time to be able to share some data and information to aspiring PMPs at CAPM, and for those that just want to know what the journey is like to get certified as a project manager. Oh, what's going on?
Dion.
Sorry,
Dion.
that's Dion. Dion, let me.
Dion.
Dion. Dion. Can you mute him? I don't know what's doing now.
There we go.
Okay, all right. Apologies for that. And I'll be quick actually. And of course, this session, I'm sure you all have been blessed by the information that has been given, answering your questions, and some other things that I'll be saying this afternoon. Now, just to give you a bit more about the chapter, we do have a new way of working now. Most of our activities are now virtual. One like this, obviously, it allows you to connect from any part of the world to join this program. And we've started this some time back now. Last year, we did a few, and I don't know, maybe this year we might be doing another couple more. And this opportunity that I want to take to prepare for a certification as a project manager. One thing that I'd like just to mention is, considering that people are different parts of the country, we are now beginning to reorganize ourselves in our geographical locations, and we're calling these clusters. Meaning that if you are in East London and you're a member of the chapter, just sharing with you some of the opportunities that you can get as a member of this chapter. You can actually have a few project managers like yourself to organize your events and connect, network, whatever it is that you want to do. That's something we're working on, and hopefully before the end of the year, we'll be able to really launch it and you get to know more about it. So we encourage you, if you are still not sure whether you want to become a member of the chapter, that you join. And the fee to join in is just $30 for those that are working. If you're not working, it's a different situation or different arrangement. So we encourage you to join, and then you can benefit from an event like this and many more. The other thing is this event in itself, information session we call it, is looking at your preparation for certification for PMP, basically, but also CAPM, because you learn to find out about what the process is, where you can get your training. Just like you've heard from Dr. Taryn Bonbana, they are an ATP, authorized training partner of the PMI, meaning they've gone through a process of scrutiny and they've been certified to offer PMI courses. And they're just one of many that we've got in the country. So we'd encourage you, if you want to know a bit more, you've got the details, or through Carol, you can get to know a bit more about what is on offer. But one other thing I'd like to mention, for those of us that might not know, there is a new certification that just come out now. In actual fact, the launch of it is going to be in the next month. And it's for construction professionals. As you would know, PMP CAPM is for project managers across sectors. But there's one now that is focusing on construction industry. And it's called CPPEB, Construction Professionals in Built Environment Projects. That is an equivalent of PMP. So if you want to write a construction certified exam as opposed to PMP, because you feel that's what you want to do, there is the opportunity. But obviously you can check online for what we do, and obviously in some time to come, we'll be able to bring an ATP into the picture to be able to talk more around this kind of thing. So there you go with opportunities of joining the chapter. And on that note, I just want to encourage everyone to keep at it, to get the best out of the opportunities that come. But now I see Selo Twina joining the call. Selo is our program coordinator for the chapter, is available for any kind of assistance you need beyond just getting your PMP, whether you want to become a member of the chapter or something. Of course, we've shared the details of Carol with you, even Nirvana, and Celos is one that you really also need to have. So whatever it is that you need to help you in your journey of being a member of the chapter, please connect with Celo as well. And on that note, I just want to wish you all a good evening and all the best in your preparation for exams. Thank you. And thanks, Carol, for the time.
Great. Thanks, Tunde. Thank you for joining the call as well. Much appreciated. Just a big thank you to my colleagues. Thank you, Dion. Thanks, Nirvana, Ayanda, Stella. Thank you, everyone, for staying till the end. Much appreciated. And from the South African chapter, PMI, we'd like to wish you all the best with your certification process. So thank you and go well. Thank you, everyone. We'll dial off now.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, Dr. Taryn.
Tunde, I thought you said you asked Carol the question, are we winding down? She said winding down, so I started playing the music and then he started talking, so I was like, oh, okay. Sorry about that.
No problem, no problem, no problem at all. Yeah, but well done to you all. I just couldn't join at the start of the program. As you saw, I was in another meeting, Dion, right?
Yeah. No, actually, both link end with a 09. So
Oh, all right, okay.
At the end.
All right, all right.
So, but I click on the new meeting invite, the wrong one.
Okay.
So that's how I end up in your call.
All right.
Thanks, Tunde.
Thanks. All right, so have a good evening. All right, bye.
Thanks,
bye.
Dion. You're a superstar, eh? Thank you, Dion.